got a couple things to look out for now. So obviously the monthly candle, you have 1 day left, right? If you guys been following us for the last like whatever, last couple of months, right, or like this whole entire month in general, you would notice that like we've been doing the same breakdown on the monthly, right? And that's because it's a monthly time frame. You only have one candle opening this entire month, right? You're not gonna close tomorrow, like, or close today. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna be closed on the 31st, right? So obviously that's all we can really look at. So that's why you hear me say the same shit every day. But at least, you know, this month we're pretty accurate about what was bound to happen. So yeah, it does look like there's a high chance that gold is gonna close below the range on a monthly. There's like a minor support right here on price, right? So this is the range that you were sort of in, and you kind of close outside the range here. So a couple things. One, no top wick, right? Obviously you haven't came up and created a top wick just yet, so therefore any given point price could look to create a top wick to drop down, but with 1 day left, it's very, very unlikely. Like I'll say there's a 1% chance of that happening, or 0.5%, you know, of us coming up, creating a top wick and then closing below the range. Because that top wick area is like up here at 1969. You're not gonna tap 69 in the day. Okay? You need a catalyst, right? Unless maybe if, you know, someone tweets something, or there's some unexpected news that comes out and it's a massive folder, then sure, that may change the direction, but I highly doubt it. We're gonna likely close below the range this month. We're likely gonna close below 1900 this month, and if we do so, then that's perfect, because you can kind of see, right, looking left here, all the times where you actually closed outside the range here, right? You're looking at this right here. Looking at this right here, right? All the times that you closed below the range, you were able to come down to fill the range. Looking left, you came down, you filled the range in the past, came down, filled this range, came down, filled this range, right? So I would assume the same thing would happen here today too, as you're closing below the range here. You should be able to come down and fill the next range, like so, towards the next support level, which is going to be somewhere in these boxes here. So it should be between like 1800, 1875. Those levels should be tapped. So yeah, there's just that. That's what I would expect for next month. Now it's obviously relevant to what's going on today, right? Because you're not going to come down today. You gotta wait for a close first and then a top wick, right? Which also, yes, you could create a top wick next month for last month's candle as well. There's still a possibility for that to happen, but again, you need to wait for the monthly close, right? But yeah, this is just the overall monthly outlook of what to expect for the next couple months to come. All we're doing really is looking left, and we're looking to mirror price. That's it. Dropping down to the weekly here, right? So as you drop down to more time frames, you're going to get more information of these time frames. So like you can kind of refer back to the monthly as we go down. So let's say like you go down to like the 1 hour, 4 hour daily. You might be like, okay, well, 1 hour is doing this, which leads to the 4 hour doing this, which leads to the day doing this, which leads to the weekly doing this, which leads to the monthly doing this. You know, it kind of all line up once you just like go through the motions of all the time frames. So like the weekly here shows you signs that like, and also let these things come natural too. You know, you don't gotta force these things. Like you don't gotta force a story out of price when there's no story on price. Like, you know, you have to just see it for what it is and just go off of what the market's currently printing you, right? You don't want to like be here like, okay, well, I think the daily is doing this because of the 4 hour doing this, and then the 5 minute. Like it's like you want to keep it simple, right, at the same given time, but you also want to make it make sense. So coming down to the weekly here, looking left on the weekly, it looks like you are coming down, and you have a day left, obviously, same shit as the monthly, right? It's the last week of the month. So like at some given point, you gotta create a top wick. Remember that, right? Some given point this month, you gotta create a top wick. It's very rare where candles close no bottom wicks, and if they do close no bottom wicks, then I mean, it is what it is, right? But there's a very high chance that you would close with a bottom wick. So therefore, it'll make sense if today or tomorrow start to pull back, right? Just a little bit. Not pull back to a point where you reverse at like, you know, 1960 or some shit. Like maybe to like 1986, 1990, you know, like maybe to those levels could be possible. So that's just a rough idea of what could happen, because you're closing off in a day and a half. Now, if you take a look at price here, there is a current support being formed on price right around here. So you're gonna kind of see right here is kind of where you have your support at, right? Or actually, you know what? No, not right there. I'm tripping. Sorry. Different perspective. You had your resistance up here. Like I'll say right around here, right? And then you have your support, I'll say roughly in these boxes here, right? So like these are the ranges that you're currently in right now. And the reason why I'm saying this is your overall range is because like if you take a look looking left, last time price came up, created top wicks, where were they? Right, you kind of see this same move coming down here, same push here coming down, same push here coming down, right? And in the past you were able to come down from 1980 straight down towards 1800. So there's a very high chance that price will make its way down towards 1800 over the next coming weeks, right? You can kind of see these candles start to like, you know, it's like supply and demand. It's like you're bouncing from 1980 down to like 1800. This is about where can you enter and how can you get the sales coming down, right? But every time so far that you came from above here, you broke back into the range, you drove down, filled it, broke back into the range, you drove down, filled it, right? So I would assume the same thing would happen over the next coming weeks. Obviously with the weekly candle closure, you can kind of zoom in a little bit because this is just the overall zone. So you can kind of zoom in and see, okay, well, what could a weekly do this week though, right? So you could say, well, there's a support right here. And if you were to close below this range to the left here, I could look left and mirror these ranges on gold here. I can mirror this right here. I can mirror this right here. I can mirror this right here, right? Because obviously, or this right here, sorry, right? Because you kind of see those are the candles that close outside the range, right? They close below the support, close below, close below, close below, right? So same thing can happen here. If you were to close below 1887 by the end of Friday, by the end of the week, then next week's candle likely is to drive down to fill the rest of the range. Looking left, you know, you can kind of see, I'm not too sure where this support is. I think it came down a little further, but you can kind of see rejections here. You can kind of see rejections here. So you can kind of say, okay, well, looking left here, you should come down towards here next, 1820, 1810 for next week, right? So I would expect the top wick and then continuation to a downside next week. Again, this is just a weekly outlook. It doesn't mean that price will go up today or price will go down today. It's just overall, once you close for the weekly, that's what you could expect for next week. So yeah, there's the weekly. All right, now let's drop down to the daily to see what today price is doing, right? So you can kind of see, okay, well, the daily close obviously closed. This is like your biggest daily candle of the month, I think. I would like to think so. Yeah, I think that is your biggest candle of the month. Your second biggest candle was like beginning of the month, first like 5 days, and then you range for the middle parts, and you grab liquidity, and then you continue to pop down for the end of the month, the last week. So yeah, it looks like you did close below here. And what I'll say is, okay, well, if you did close below here, or actually, you know what, you close below here as well. Yeah, so the daily close below these ranges here to the left, right? So if we're closing below these ranges, my only concern here really is liquidity. Like looking left there, you can kind of see, I'm looking at this area on price. I'm looking at this area on price, right? And I'm looking at those areas. I'm noticing that, you know, obviously at one given point, you did close below the range here, right? So you close below the range right around here in this yellow box here, right? That was your first closure below. You close below the range here, right? You close below the range here. So if that's kind of what we're looking at here on price, right? Sorry, just make it identical. If you close below there to the left in the past, right? You at one given point did come up to create a top wick, and you kind of see it happening here. Like you create a top wick in those ranges, you create a top wick here, right? So off of what I understand here, when last time price closed below the range, it came up, created top wicks, and then it continued to fall down, right? So if I'm looking for a top wick area, and these are the two levels I'm looking at, this one and this one, I can get the medium average of both and say, okay, well, the middle of that should be ideal for the top wick. So I'll stay right here. Top wick area should be 1900, right? So if you get a top wick, I mean, today or the next coming days, right? It'll make sense too, because if you can pull back, remember I said about the weekly chart, going back to the weekly time frame, or the monthly time frame, you have 2 days left. You gotta pull back at some given point. So at some given point, you're gonna see that retracement. At some given point, you're gonna pull back to create those top wicks to continue further down for the month afterwards, right? Which is gonna be October. So it'll make sense if we spend the last couple days of the month to create a top wick, and then the first couple days of the next month to create a top wick, and then all of a sudden you continue to drive down for October to continue down and finish off the ranges, which takes you down towards here and here. So roughly here, I'll say, right, is your next support level. So that could happen. Again, it doesn't have to happen today. I know this is a daily, but you can kind of see, right? Last time price was in these ranges here, this range, and this range. It didn't just drive down off the next candle. Don't get me wrong. If it does do that today, then perfect. I would not mind. If gold just drives down, great. But overall, it took a couple of candles here. It took a handful of candles here to really make your way down, right? You can kind of see here, took like at least a four to five candles. Same thing here, like 3 candles here, so 3 dailies, right? It makes sense. The last couple days of the month, first couple days of next month, to create those top wick areas, and then eventually, you know, you have something like this form, maybe closure and then a closure. All of a sudden, you know, you have a top wick area that taps that yellow line there, and then all of a sudden you have a closure, and that closure takes you down to the bottom of the range, and that'll be your range fill to fill whatever that is, 1800, right? So it might not even happen today, but at least you can expect a potential pullback today, right? Again, there's no confirmation of either direction yet. It's kind of just like, okay, we're in a range right now. What could you grab? If you grab the pullback, how aggressive are you going to be with the pullback? Are you going to swing it? Are you looking to grab a small piece of it? If you're looking for more sells, what range are you looking to grab? Are you looking to grab the current ranges, the fake out in the current range, or the range below once you close below the range, right? So just be mindful that if you were to close below the range today, the weekly or the daily at any given point could again reject, because you are at that level. In the past you have rejected. So if you're a person that just looks for like buys above here, sells below here, whatever, you know, then just be a bit mindful of taking sells below here, just because you're gonna need liquidity at some given point, and you haven't grabbed it yet. And it makes sense today if you were to grab it, just because the weekly time frame shows you, or the daily shows you, that you're tapping into that heavy level support, which you have grabbed liquidity in the past, right? So if I'm looking for positions today, I would need liquidity to drop down first. So let's drop down to the small time frame. I'm going to explain that to you guys real quick. Just running over the 4-hour time frame right now real quick. It shows you right now that you are obviously below these ranges here. So give me 1 second. Let me just find these. Yeah, right there. So like, look, you have like this support right here, or this resistance here, right? Or obviously below it. But then again, you also have this support down here as well, right? Like in these ranges here. So this is the range you're in. It gets very tough here, right? You kind of want to break out this range. Obviously, like there's a range to fill and all of that, right? But at any given point, you could just reject the support. You might not even make your way down towards 1960. But yeah, like I assume that if you get a top wick on price, it will have to be at like 1989, 1986, right? Because that's your most recent resistance. If you get a top wick, then perfect. You know what I mean? Like we can just grab sells coming down afterwards. But I would prefer, if you have some liquidity here, to make this final push down. Not final push down, but to make that push down towards 1960 to fill those ranges, right? But I'll prefer, again, a top wick here first, just so we can grab those orders to drop down. Now price today, right, going down to the 1 hour 30-15. This is when we start to mark up our charts real quick. And then I'll say, if I'm again going back to what I said earlier about you need liquidity to drive down, taking sells below these ranges are going to be very tough. I understand that you have ranges here, so let me just go ahead and mark that up real quick for you guys. You have like currently you're seeing this range here, so resistance is here, or just could be a bit higher probably, but no, I'll put that there. Resistance is there, and support is here. Let me look left and see if I can adjust those levels here or not. Yeah, you probably can adjust it here. That should be that resistance to the left there as well, and then this could be probably, sorry, there we go. That's perfect. Fuck, I'm sick, bro. Yeah, so you have 1870 and you have 1881, right? So obviously, like you can kind of see, like we're in this range right now, right? This is a range within a range. So don't touch. I would say I'm not gonna touch this range today. I'm not gonna grab anything from 974 to 78 unless you break out the range. So looking for buys today, right? If you're looking for buys today, you want to see the breakout down before coming back up, right? So what I want to see is, again, because you need liquidity to drive down still, right? And your liquidity being grabbed at 1890, which is going to be like up here somewhere, like I mentioned earlier, 1889. So if you were to at any given point close below this range today, I'm not going to take sells. But what I'll do is I'll wait for price to kind of close back into the ranges, and then I'll take the fake out back up. Or we can just take the wick entry at 1870, right? In these ranges here, we can take a wick entry here as well. And then we can anticipate price to drive up towards 1881, right? So we can also take that, but then you can just kind of expect price to drop up, fill the range, and then make, again, its way up towards like the liquidity levels, which is 1890, right? Because 1890, yes, is liquidity to go down, that area over there, or 1900, but you need liquidity to drive up first, right? Because the move up is like at least like a 200 move. That's a $20 gold move. So you need liquidity to drive up anyway. So liquidity driving up could just be at 1870, but overall the position is liquidity driving down in the 4 hour time frame, right? So you see what I'm saying? It's like you're taking advantage of the small time frame to drive up, to take advantage of the higher time frame to drive down. So that's kind of basically what you're doing. And if I'm looking for sells today, again, sells gonna be a little tough. Sells won't be for a little while. I'll say sells will be if maybe like if you, here's the thing, you might not even tap 1897 for liquidity, for all I know, right? You might not even tap those levels, but if you do, let's say, break outside this range today, right? Again, I don't know what price is gonna do yet. It's still in the range here, but if price were to break outside the range like this first, then I'll look for sells, probably not as a wick entry. I'll look for sells probably if you were to like close below 1870. I think these would be the better sells you can play off today. This one right here, right? Because if you break into the range, you're gonna fill it and you're gonna drive, right? Even if you don't drive, you at least have this range right here. You can grab sells anywhere in this like pink box here, right? In this pink box, because it might not even drop down after that, but at least you'll know it'll fill the range first, right? So that's why I look to grab for sells if sells were to happen. I wouldn't take wick entries for sells, but I'll take the wick entries for buys today, just because that 1870 level is pretty tough. Let me find the exact wick entry level, because I don't have the exact levels for the wick entry buys just yet, but I think it would be somewhere around here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 1870, 1864, like that area should be ideal. We could probably move the support down a little bit too, because that makes the most sense, I believe. Yeah, that makes the most sense actually. Down there. Yeah. Let me just see one more time. What is that here though? Let's see, that's there, that's there. Let's see. That is there. Okay, yes, something here still though. So what is this? 1866. Okay, 1866. Then wick entry 1863 might make sense then. Yeah, okay. Alright. Try to move this here. Have this level being here, which should be tapping into those areas as well. Okay, yeah, that's about right. Delete this. Cool. And then you have current ranges there. All right, cool. Yeah, so here's what you could do today. Again, same shit. We just moved it a little down, you know. So let's say like price were to close below the range like this, right? As it closes below the ranges, right, and then it, like, let's say it does something like this where it just starts to hold 1968, because that's your major level, right? The wick entry level isn't a major level; it's just a wick area. But your wick entry, your major support is right here at 1968. So if you set the close bullish at support here, perfect. If you get a wick entry down towards 63, that's the buys we'll take, right? We'll take buys off rip here. 63 coming back up to fill the range at 881, and that's a pretty nice range. Like that's a range of maybe, that's like a $17 move, right? Yeah, $17 move, 170 pips, 160 pip move range in general, and then you're gonna expect to fill the range. Are we gonna continue up? I don't know, but if you do get this form today where you don't grab liquidity before coming down, right? So you look like this and you make your way down without grabbing liquidity up here. You come down, grab support here, break the lows, obviously that's your entry, right? So that's what I'll look for in terms of buys. Again, sells, same shit, right? I'll look for the same shit on sells, but the opposite direction. but it's gonna be a little tough. Just a little review again. Close above here, not taking the buys, not taking the sells, sorry. Gonna wait a little bit, not taking the sells just yet. You can still reject. Taking the sells on this push though, right? As you kind of come back into this range here, you can probably grab that piece in the move from 70, 77 down to like 70, which is still good. It's like a $8 move, $7 move, 70 pips, 80 pips, right? So it's not bad at all. Both directions today, doesn't matter where price goes, buys or sells, we're looking to grab both, if we can. But yeah, man, that's kind of what we got going on today, chat, for buys and sells on gold. Cool. So probably gonna be at like 9 or some shit, I'm assuming. Like I don't think we'll grab a trade at like 8. I think it's gonna be 9 like 15 probably, maybe after 10, because you have a folder at 10, then you have a folder at 10:30, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, or we might not even grab a piece there at all, you know what I mean? You gotta be okay with that as well. It's not every day's a trading day. I think for the most part this week we had 3 trades, 3 days, 3 trades. So we're on pace for like a trade every week, a trade every day of the week. But you can't force these trades to come when there's no opportunities, right? We've been here long enough, chat. You guys see my story yesterday? The FOMO yes part I had on gold last night during the New York session. It is what it is. What up, okay? Man, I need like, oh man, I need honey and lemon, hot water. Like, you've been here for a year today? Oh damn, you have been here for a year. Yeah, heart full of pain, I know you. Damn. Congrats, bro. 1 year of being here every day. So how has your training been from last year to today? How's it been? You're in October? Oh yeah, Jimmy, I know you. Yeah, you've been here. Trades taken or trades in a week or a day? No, that's from the day. That was taken yesterday. The week, you can see our trades on stream here. Like we have the record all here with all the trades here are documented here. You can kind of go on the spreadsheet and see every trade we took. Or you can just go on the streams. You know, the streams have timestamps too, but yeah, you can do all of this. This is my 3rd week here. Yo, why shouldn't I? Why interest secure real estate before buying? It's like people know what I do, huh? That's the thing, man. A lot of people are so quick to just to say shit. You guys have, you know, like you guys don't know what I have my money in, what I got my stuff in, why I'm getting this car. You just got, you know, you can't be too quick to say things like that. Pocket watching. You know, some guy on Twitter, by the way, was like, this guy on Twitter, you know how we show our trades every day, my FX book and all that. It's just like, some guy was like, yeah, Don, do you mind showing me your bank statements, for example? Like, I don't know if I can really trust you. I'm like, hold on, bring it back a little bit. What do you mean show my bank statements? I'm like, no other industry would be this transparent with their trades alone, right? Showed track record. Like, no one, only FX seems like this, and I get it. People have PTSD. People are traumatized by what the industry has been, like, you know, what has been going on in the industry. And it's like, I get it, you know, but dude, it's Bro asked me for my bank statements. I was like, dude, do you want to see my SIN number too?